Hey everyone, and welcome! It is time for another Paint and Slay here on Idle Champions, and I have the lovely Lauren joining me, and today we're going to keep going with the fantastic Carrion Crawler that we started painting last week, and we're having lots of fun with. And Lauren, do you care to remind everyone what we have decided upon vote-wise for the name?
Oh yes, this lovely creature right here is called Sir Crawl-a-Lot, and they're adorable.
Oh my gosh. You all had some fantastic names last week, by the way. Crawlita was like my second favorite. I'm thinking maybe if you want to take Sir Crawl-a-Lot, I might take Crawlita and dub mine that one. So we can kind of get that one in there too, because that was too stinking adorable. But if you missed last week, this one comes from WizKids Games. It is basically from their D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures line, which is all D&D monsters and characters and things like that. They come primed ahead of time, so I have to just take them out of the box, pop them onto your painting stuff, and you can get going right away. And yeah, so pretty exciting stuff to keep going with this. And we also have some other pretty exciting stuff that's happening just in general. That is absolutely for sure. Do we want to talk about that, or should we hold off a little bit about that? What do you think?
I say we talk about it right now, simply to get the announcement for anyone who might have been hanging out in Twitch and haven't had a chance to see our social medias. Something very, very exciting just happened. And I will go ahead and put the link in chat. Also, apparently I'm very quiet. I may have to turn, I don't know if you can turn me up.
I can turn you up.
Okay, you turn me up. I will put the link into chat so that you can adjust my volume as I say, Idle Champions Presents Season 2 has just been announced. That's right, more D&D is coming to Idle Champions. If you want to find out more about the new season of Idle Champions Presents, I just put the blog into the chat. If you're watching on the VOD, just go check our website, codenamementertainment.com, check our social media, check our Discord, check all of the things and find out more about Trials of Mount Tiamat. Yay! New shows are starting Mondays at 4 p.m. Pacific, starting not this coming Monday, but the next Monday, October 18th at 4 o'clock. There's going to be 7 new episodes. We've got an amazing first cast. B-Dave Walters is back DMing. The eminent, the wonderful B-Dave Walters is going to be DMing a cast that includes Aaron M. Evans, Todd Kenrick, Mark Meir, Tanya DePass, Jason Charles Miller. They're going to be party number 1 as they are going to be competing in the Trials of Mount Tiamat. Want to know more? Yeah. Head to the blog. There's going to be voting again happening. There's going to be all sorts of goodies they're going to be given out. It's just going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
I can't wait. It's been doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff with it, and it's exciting stuff. Trust me, okay. And I had to bring Tiamat out just for funsies.
Also, this has literally been months in the making. There have been people who've been working super hard behind the scenes to make this happen. And yeah, we're all super excited for the return of Idle Champions Presents. Yay! Also, so there you go. You can find out more about that. More information will be coming in the next week. Bringing it back to the Carrion Crawler, I will say, if anyone is looking to ask any questions about us as we paint and slay today, we have the lovely Martin in chat who's going to be grabbing questions, who also will be doing producing and moderating and all the fun stuff. So thank you to Martin. We really appreciate you. And if you want to see the Carrion Crawler in game, you can find the Carrion Crawler in the Grand Tour, in the Underdark section, in Velkenvelv, in Neutral No More. Let's go on back. I've got a party going through right now. So the Carrion Crawler in game is one of the monsters, one of the boss monsters you will find in Neutral No More. Let's actually how quickly is this thing gonna die? Because
like last time it was like whack by.
There we go. yeah, it goes away pretty fast. Briv just does not like Carrion Crawlers.
No.
It's just like, nope.
So if you're fighting, make sure you have Briv.
make sure you have Briv. So yeah. And we are halfway through. This is part 2 of Carrion Crawler Fun. You can find part 1 on our YouTube. And join us as we're going to go forward. And I'm excited. I'm excited to get this boy painted and finished.
I can't wait. This is going to be one of those fun little creepy crawlies. And I like your idea of when we go to finish this off of using the glossy seal coat that we're going to do, kind of just to give it that little slimy-esque look to it. I think it'll be fun to do. So we did a lot of work last week. This week, we're going to jump into doing the legs, the base, and then doing some dry brushing as well as detail work. And hopefully, by the end, we'll be having some fun, including putting it onto the base, adding in some fun little grass tufts for extra details, and we'll have a lovely creepy crawly to add to our painted collection, I should say. I have a paint collection that's something else entirely, and it's taking over a certain portion of my house. That's a different story.
Well, it's the same story. It's just a later chapter of the same story, right?
Mm-hmm. This is very true. So if you want, just grab your paper plate, and we're going to start out with just some brown to get us going. And you're going to want
the weekly shaking of the brown.
Shake, shake, shake. This is where we need like a fun little like shaking song while we do this.
I mean, I can think of so many songs that I could sing right now that have shaken them, but all of them are going to get this.
Sonora.
That was the one always
comes to mind.
Yeah, I'm like, the Twitch is going to be unhappy if we start singing stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I know. Sometimes you sing a song, it's like.
Put your favorite shake song in chat, because
I like
I'm
that.
sure there's like 12 of them.
Oh, I just got another one, and it's very much. That one's even more in my head than Sonora. But I'm not.
We'll just have them all in our head. It'll be great.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just gonna work straight up brown. I'm using the model color line. Lauren has the game color line, both from Vallejo.
Yeah.
So mine it's called flat brown. Straight up flat brown. And the colors that Lauren is using are the colors that, if you go into our list in the Discord chat, those are the colors that are spoken about type of situation. So actually, no, I take it back. My model color lines are the ones, but it's Vallejo paints. They're very comparable to each other. Sometimes it might just be a shift of tonals, like Lauren's is a little bit more of a warm tone, whereas mine is more of a cool tone. You'll still get similar results, is basically the whole point. And it's also one of those things where if you don't have Vallejo paint, that's cool too. You don't have to use Vallejo paint. You can use whatever paints you have at home, even if it's craft paints. I said it. Even if it's craft paints, because quite frankly, if you're just beginning, it's a great way to get started on a budget. So I'm going to jump in using my 10/0 brush from the Mod Podge Details brush set. And yes, it's a clean brush. I know someone's going to catch the fact that I just licked my brush. It's a clean brush. No paint has been applied yet.
Tiny little brush and a tiny little bit of brown. All right.
Yeah, tiny little brush, tiny little bit of brown. And we're basically going to go through, and it's leg day. Okay? It was core day last week. Now it is leg day this week.
I got to grab a different brown. Hold on a second.
Oh, okay. Oh, did it do what happened last time? Did it liquefy?
Remember how I had that problem with one of my browns that was in this, and where I need to pin it open? That happened again, and I did the thing and where I squeezed the bottle, and I went, oh, I'm not going to squeeze this anymore, because it's going to, there'll be explosions. So fortunately, there are two different browns in this pack that I got. So if you buy the, basically the information in the Discord lists the basics that you need, and I'm using exactly what we recommend in the Discord, and the pack that we get actually includes two different browns, and so I now have Beastie Brown, which is I think what I was using last week anyway. I accidentally grabbed the leather brown. The leather brown,
not the one.
It looks like a wonderful brown. It just also looks like a brown that is going to explode unless I get a pin. So
that is definitely, put it literally. That is something where if you do go to try and use one of your paints from a dropper style bottle, and if you go and squeeze and nothing comes out right away, stop and grab yourself a toothpick or a pin of some sort and make a puncture.
Make an incision.
Just puncture that, because trust me, this is truly speaking from experience. Force, do not use the force. We're going to put it that way. Do not use the force. You'll regret using the force. It gets messy sometimes when you use the force in an inappropriate way, especially when it's from a bottle full of paint.
The force is strong with the paint bottles.
Oh, the force was far stronger than I anticipated when I went to go and open that paint bottle. I was like, it's not coming out. And then electric blue all over my art table later.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So I will post stream get myself a pin, and I'll make sure that my leather brown has a nice safe little pinhole in it for the next time.
A post-stream
Because
puncture.
Post-stream puncture, because I saw as Alinger would say, I foresaw that moment in where I squeezed a little too hard. And yes, that was going to be brown all over my desk. That was going to be bad.
Yeah.
So we're just using this brown directly onto these legs.
Yep. And if you want to thin out your paint, you by all means can. I find with detail work, what I do is I float a little bead of paint at the tip of my paintbrush, so I don't thin it out, because having the paint slightly thicker definitely helps with paint control for me personally. So right now we're going back to food consistencies. We have to get that food list pulled together. I forgot. My consistency is about like ketchup. Okay. So that is the consistency of my paint that I'm working with. So it's like ketchup. But again, because I put this tiny little bead right at the top, which you can see right there on my paintbrush, put that tiny little bead on, and I feather it across the surface of the miniature, and I let that little bit of paint do the work for me. Surprisingly, you don't have to apply a lot of pressure to a paintbrush sometimes, especially when you're doing finer detail work.
Yeah, and especially when you got this tiny, tiny little brush. This thing is adorable.
It's definitely a lot of fun.
And I like how this dark brown, because we'd put a lot of like brown tones on the Carrion Crawler, but they were a bunch of lighter tones and yellowish tones and everything, and now we just got this straight up brown, and it's making the legs stick out really nicely.
That was the whole plot I was trying to aim for, was like, I want to make sure this brown is noticeable and really just makes itself known, because I'm sorry, all of these legs are just too darn cool to see. I didn't want them to get lost against the body.
Yeah. All right, let me check in. Hi, chat. How you doing? Welcome to our Friday Paint Slave.
I gotta say, I'm enjoying our Fridays, like doing this stream and getting to hang out with everyone.
Absolutely. A nice relaxing. You start the day with a little bit of the pancakes. You get some breakfast and some questions, and then we sit and paint for a little bit, and then Garwar comes on and gives you all the information that you need for the entire weekend. It's very nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So Trontonian says, anyone ever watch that movie about Carrion Crawlers, Crawlito's Way? All right. Well, it's gonna be that kind of day.
It is.
I see where that's going.
The puns are strong with this crew, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. The Idle Champions fans are puntastic. I'll just say it.
I would.
And Mad Cringe Henry says, like ketchup bottles, do not use the Force unless you really love tomatoes. Yeah. Super fair. Super duper fair. Also, apparently I'm still a bit quiet. I'm going to turn myself up on my end. Jeez.
Okay.
That is not something I usually hear people say about me. Quiet is not usually one of my things.
I can bump you up a little bit more on my side too, and we'll see if that makes a difference.
Yeah, let us know, chat, if I'm suddenly like way too loud. I also have to lean away from my microphone a little bit, because my light source is to the left and my microphone is to the right. So there may be a little bit more variance in my loudness. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I still have some playroom. On my side, you were getting close to the red, so that's why I didn't want to have you start gating out.
Close to the red.
It's a thing. Audio balance, it's a thing, folks. Behind the scenes.
Oh, see, now I'm at these legs that like I have to get under in order to get at part of the leg, and this went from fun to slightly more difficult.
Yeah, now you got to concentrate. And always remember, you can move your mini around. Like you're seeing me do it right now. Just get to those different angles. Tip, spin, all that good stuff. It'll help you reach where you're trying to get to.
All right.
Ooh, we already said there are a lot of nooks and crannies on this miniature.
And a lot of legs. It's a leggy boy. Abs and legs. Abs and legs for days.
You know, they enjoy their trips to the gym.
Yeah. Well, these things are burrowers and like to crawl around and catch up on unsuspecting adventurers. So
Yep.
They do a lot of running. They do a lot of hard ab work in order to find a meal. So I can't blame them.
They also just like the whole lying in wait for someone to show up and then hi, I gotcha.
Yeah, and you got to be prepared for that moment. If you don't have core strength, then there's no way you're going to be able to grab a seasoned adventurer.
This is true. Rumor has it adventurers are rather, athletic or good at acrobatics.
Yeah, but they're also tasty. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, Ishval Mall. Although,
go
ahead, and I'll get to this question.
I was going to say, although I kind of question their taste, considering they like to eat decaying things, They go more for the fermented foods.
There you go. They like their food pickled.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Ishva Mall has a question about the game. I'm fairly new to Idle Champions. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I was wondering, I'm trying to get Dahani chests. Aren't we all? Don't we all want murder bird chests? Yes.
Absolutely.
Do I get one for every 50 stages cleared, or do I need to reset every time I get to 50? So if you're doing the Dahani free plays in the High Harvest Tide event, when you get to 50, you're going to get a random chest. It may be a silver, maybe a gold. As long as you get to 50, you'll get a chest. If you want to keep going and earn favor, that's great. But all you need to do in order to get a chest is to make it to area 50. You don't have to go further than that. So if you've got the, if you can keep resetting like at 51 and keep going and going and going and going, you will just keep getting chests. So use those bounty contracts, get yourself the event tokens that you need in order to do tons and tons and tons of Dahani stuff. Because murder burb.
Yes. Oh my god. That burb is totally the word.
After Black Dice Society last night, Latia had her stream where she was unlocking. She had actually unlocked Dahani, but she was playing through one of the last challenges in her event and just talking about playing with Dahani, because she's been playing Idle Champions for a little while actually, and she was taking suggestions from chat about stuff, about formation strategy and stuff. And she did not know that you could put the familiars on champions on the bottom bar to auto level them up. Which is like, there's a lot of little details in this game that are easy to miss, and that can be one of them. And there's a clip of her reaction out there when she got a chance to do that. That is absolutely priceless and amazing, and I love it so much. And her joy is palpable. So definitely, go check out Latia Jakis. She is amazing, and she had a lot of fun last night playing through the game.
Yep. I was kind of bummed I missed it, but by the time, because Black Dice doesn't just end when we end stream, there's a couple things we do afterwards for the patrons.
Yeah.
So by the time that was all done, I was like, you know what? First of all, I wear a wig for that game, so my head was like, we need to take this off. We need to get comfy.
Oh,
so by
absolutely.
the time it was all comfified and everything, I was like, yeah, it's kind of over.
That is one of the hardest parts about being a person who does D&D streaming or just streaming in the TTRPG space, is that there are so many awesome streams, which is good. I think it's good and healthy for everybody, but it does mean on a regular basis, I'm like, I'm going to miss this one because I'm actually on stream at the same time. Or, there's 3 different streams going on at the same time that I want to watch and support. Yeah. So that is why videos on demand and YouTube videos are amazing.
They really are. Grateful for the VODs.
Yeah.
I'm going to rinse my brush a little bit. Simply because it is starting to get a little bit tacky. And if you need to rinse your brush every so often, that's totally cool. Especially you'll find it with detail work. It just sort of helps.
Oh, interesting. And so when you say tacky,
it's like that little bit of paint on the brush. It starts drying, so it's just best to rinse off and get the brush bristles moist again. That's basically what it boils down to.
That makes sense. Counting Coup asks, was there an announcement about Godslayers? So there was an announcement, yes. So if you go to the main page, you'll see the Trials of Mount Tiamat. So is coming to ICP2. So Idle Champions Present Season 2 is happening. The official title is the Trials of Mount Tiamat because hey, everybody's got to fight gods. Everybody's got to fight Tiamat, and it's B-Dave is doing high level D&D, so there'll probably be a lot of gods involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, when you got to fight Tiamat, then you'd better be a high level. You better be ready.
Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely go check out that blog. More information to come, but there's already a lot of information in there. So
there is. This is going to be one of those fun, but wait, there's more.
Oh yeah.
I'm kidding.
It is
in the best of ways.
I just can't wait for the actual games. It's such a good cast, and I am envious of not being able to play in that cast because they are also good. But I'm gonna have so much fun watching them. I will definitely be in chat following along.
Same.
All these legs under the
I know, I'm dreading that.
Under the tentacles, under the whatever these are. Oh, this is so hard to get to.
They're tentacles. They are tentacles. They're actually what you want to stay away from when attacked.
Yeah.
That could paralyze you.
Just a little.
Biggie.
Oh, right now they're paralyzing my brush strokes.
Yeah, it gets a little funky.
Oof.
Now you might be able to gently nudge. Yeah, you can probably just gently lift the tentacles if needed for a little bit more space for your brush movement. I might just do that myself, to be honest. Just be careful that you don't overflex it and crack your paint.
Yeah, we put all that effort into these tentacles. Last thing I want to do is be like...
And you might hear... it sounds like there's a lawn service happening in the neighborhood. You might hear a mower in the background for me, but it's a beautiful day and I want those windows open.
Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful day here in Seattle, but it's also cold. So I'll just be leaving those windows closed.
Yeah, see where I am in the Jersey area, we always joke around. There's like you get a taste of fall for like a couple weeks in September, end of September-ish. Then October comes back. It's like, nope, just kidding. Let's go back to like mid-70 weather.
Yeah,
which is what it's doing right now. So I'm like, I kind of want the windows open because it's sunny and it's pretty and it sounds nice with the burbs.
Yep.
And someone's deciding that it's time to manicure their lawn.
This last one in this left side. Oh
no.
All right, I'm gonna be leaning way off camera for a second because this is oh jeez, this little guy.
Okay, so I'm just going to gently lift a little bit. We're gonna lift for leg day because I want to try and get these, and I'm just making sure I am not excessively extending. Hindsight, I kind of wish I went in and kit bashed the tentacles to like be way up in the air.
The upper tentacles are definitely a little easier to lift than like I went to go move the lower tentacles, and at least on mine they're a bit stiff.
Yeah, they're a little bit more solid. So I'm just gonna reach what I can, and don't forget there's always that lovely thing called the 3-foot rule. So get mostly what you can. If someone's looking that closely,
I actually don't know what is the 3-foot rule.
Oh, we talked about it. It's remember on the table, you're not if you're looking at your mini like this the whole time, that's not realistic. Your mini is going to be 3 feet away on a table from you. So yes, absolutely. When we're painting like this and looking so carefully, we're going to see all those little details. If there's a spot you just can't reach, that's where it's like, okay, 3-foot rule.
Okay, that makes sense.
Don't stress out over it. Plus, we're doing a wash, which should hopefully help.
That was literally what I was about to say. Like, I think at that point, it's like, the wash is going to get in there.
Let the wash work for you.
Yeah, because I'm definitely getting to that point with that one foot.
Yeah, I'm
All right. Well, while I give that a second before I move on to the other side, let me check back with chat. TTRP gifts. Oops, all Mark Meir. I mean, he does do a lot of voices, but he is just playing one PC as far as I know during Idle Champions Presents.
He's not doing what he does to us on videos.
That is consistently amazing. Oh, he's done that multiple times where he just drops into a different character, and it's so good.
It's also unnerving when he brings out Aslan from Uriah. It's like, oh, Mark.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's unnerving, but it's also just beautiful.
Oh, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love it. Major goosebumps when it happens. Okay, so I think I'm going to call that for the legs on the one side and work around the other side. I'm going to rinse my brush again.
I got the one side, and I'm starting to get the other, so.
Yay! Break on through to the other side. This is how my brain works, folks. Hi.
I love it. I love it. It's the playlist for Paint and Slay. So a couple more questions from chat. Thank you, chat. Yes. We love you. Hope you're painting along. Hope you're having a good Friday. Hope you've reset your game and got the Mount Tiamat weekend going on because it's epic. So Garwar asks, Godslayers isn't the actual show then? That's correct. The actual show is Idle Champions Presents 2 Trials of Mount Tiamat, because sometimes teasers are different than the actual announcements. But it's good to clarify that. And K Street 84, should I get chests for Dahani or Torragar? Porque no los dos.
I was gonna say both sounds good to me.
Both are good. That being said, if you have to pick between one and the other, because we're into the last few days of High Harvest Tide, we're at the point in where you might be running out of the event tokens. You might only have one adventuring party, and so you kind of have to pick and choose. I say either go for the champion that has less gear. So if you're missing gear on one of those two, go for that champion. Or if they've both got gear, but maybe one is missing a couple purples and the other one isn't, go for the one that's missing purples. Or if you are looking for if both of them have pretty good gear, I say go for Dahani, because Dahani is the new champion, and this is kind of the first time you've had a chance to gear her up. So that is my suggestion. Chat may have some other suggestions, but
of course,
if you can, do both. If you can, just go ahead and try to grab as many chests as you can. And by chests, I do literally mean play the free play and just keep going through the free play. It is often better to use your event tokens to do another free play if you can. So don't worry about saving up event tokens to buy a chest. You actually get more chests if you use the event tokens to play through the event. So that is my suggestion.
Well, see, I just learned something.
Oh, there you go.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that tidbit.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm getting pinged that I saw some pings that I missed from before, and so I was just checking in on everything. But
is your audio doing okay now? Are we in a better spot?
Oh yeah, and it was just a lot of yay, the blog is live, yay!
Awesome.
A lot of celebratory stuff, because as I said, a lot of people have been waiting. A lot of people have been working really hard on Idle Champions Presents 2, and have been waiting a long time to be able to share the joy. So.
I'm going to say right now, if for some reason you are not following Idle Champions on our socials, do be sure to, because there's going to be lots of cool stuff getting shared.
Absolutely.
On social media. Give it a look if you don't mind. A humble request.
Oh, and there we go. Martin, on top of things, putting the socials link in chat.
Hey, Martin. On it. Love it. I'm telling you, mods make the world go round for streamers.
Absolutely. Oh, getting under this
leg.
Have
you thanked your mod today? I want to get a bumper sticker that says that. I'm not even kidding. Or like just something for my computer sticker style stuff. You thanked your mods today.
I mean, I put on a bumper sticker, have you thanked your mods today? I don't get a chance to drive nearly as much as I get a chance to be on stream, but
that's
you
what I
know.
was thinking. I do have a couple bumper stickers. Although they're on the windows. Does that count as a bumper sticker or is that a window decal? Probably window decal.
I mean, I guess technically window. So what are they?
I have a lovely D20 with the 20 showing, of course. And then I have the D&D ampersand. And then I have this beautiful tribal style tattoo of a cat.
Aww.
Yep.
I actually do not have any bumper stickers or window decals.
Aww.
And part of that is because even before the Panini, Luke and I did not drive very much because unless I was going to a gig, we both worked from home. So
that makes sense.
We just weren't thinking about that kind of thing. And then it just so happened that we bought a new car in November of 2019. Or December, I'm sorry, because it was late November, early December. And so we just haven't been thinking about car stuff.
That's fair.
There just hasn't been a chance.
So
but someday. Someday I will go back to convention and then I'll be looking at bumper stickers and decals that I will want all over everything.
Yes. That would be a fun thing. If you have a thematic bumper sticker for like D&D or tabletop RPG, what is it? Because there are some fun ones out there. I would love to know from the chat. I'm sorry, I just lapsed into like Nika's voice.
Well, you were doing it a lot yesterday, so.
I was, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. That's also a slightly easier voice to lapse into than some. Like some character voices take a little bit of thinking about before you can. Yeah. I can pull Orkira out in small bits and pieces if I'm not warmed up, but she doesn't often come out without prompting.
Oh, interesting.
Mostly because I gotta do that, and so I gotta think about getting into that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I get it. The one PC we were talking about the other week, wasn't it? Mama Rihanna?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have to, in my head, mentally think she would call the Gearforged Metal Man. Gearforged is a Cobalt Press thing, by the way. I know Warforged, same thing. Similar thing, I should say.
Yeah.
But she'd see, name was Maurice, she'd see Maurice and she'd go, Metal Man! And getting that out will help me like jump into her voice more easily. Otherwise, it kind of is like a slow warm up to get the voice right.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you got to do things for specific voices or accents, and I think that's a pretty normal thing a lot of people have to do.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's like, oh, it's like a catchphrase almost.
Yeah.
Without even trying. Cantrell is too easy sometimes for me.
Just accidental.
She just comes out sometimes and I don't realize it. I'm like, I'm blaming Cantriell for that statement.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the good thing. The good thing about Orkira is that she very rarely says anything. If she does come out, she very rarely says anything that I'm upset by.
Oh, there you go.
Except if she's not a fan of dragons and I am. So every once in a while she's just like, dragons, ugh. and Fizbins is coming out soon. I'm like, but Fizbins.
Oh boy.
I am excited for Fizbins.
I cannot wait. I mean, I don't at all have a thing for dragons whatsoever. Nope.
Oh yeah, if you missed V's unboxing of Tiamat, that you've got that up on your VOD, right?
Yeah, that's up on my YouTube channel now as a VOD.
Awesome.
If you want to see all the chromatic dragons, the adult chromatic dragons next to Tiamat, if you want to see Arviadoris next to Tiamat, if you want to see, what did I have? You had a young blue.
Yep.
I had the sapphire, the Chardolin, and these are all dragons that I'm listing off. So yeah, I don't have a thing for dragons at all. No.
I think Arkan was probably my favorite out of all of them.
Oh my gosh, Arkan riding on the back of Tiamat was the best.
Yeah.
And I wanted to keep it there, but my cat Rory discovered there was something small sitting on Tiamat. And she was going in and she was like, nudge, nudge. I'm like, okay, first of all, this mini's bigger than you are, talking about Tiamat. And secondly, the wings aren't popped in securely because I want to put it back in the box eventually. So I didn't want to run into, oops-a-daisy. Kitty got attacked by a dragon.
Just discovered another leg.
You did?
How did I... Yeah. I'm like searching under the tentacles and looking around stuff. I'm like, that's another leg.
Where did you come from?
How are you hiding this leg?
Where did you come from? Yeah, this is like, this took me a little bit longer than anticipated because of the number of legs. I didn't even count them. I should count them afterwards.
Well, I'm gonna take a second and look for more questions from chat. So I will give it. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, I got 15 on one side.
Oh boy.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've only got 12 on the other, but it's the side.
The body's curved.
Yeah, the body's curled under, so there might be 1 or 2 that
are hiding underneath the bulk.
Yeah, because I don't see any sign of them. The one that I discovered was super duper under tentacles.
Yeah. All right, I'm doing what I can.
That's all any of us can do.
Right?
Do what we can.
Try. I know a certain little green fellow says there is no try, only do, something along those lines. But with all due respect,
yeah. So sometimes doing really is just trying with intent. Fanboy of Bolas says, when I played Idle Champions, I just really loved the character dialogue options and seeing proper D&D elements in a fun little game. Aw, thank you.
That's great.
We appreciate that. Yeah, it is. It as someone who plays Idle Champions as more of a set it and forget it. Play a little bit and then just let it go in the background while I'm doing other things. I occasionally miss the dialogue, and I have to go back because the dialogue is always super fun.
Yeah, because you can read that after the fact.
Oh yeah,
which I liked big time. I realized I missed a little spot, so I'm like quickly mixing up like a very lightish brown on my end is what I'm doing. It's like, oh, that was actually...
Oh, from the body?
Yeah, I missed a spot on the body. So I just mixed up a light brown really quick to kind of fix it.
I'm still looking for...
I won't be able to forget it.
I'm still looking for underbody spots and underleg spots. Of like, oh, there,
and that, and that, and there, and that.
Oh, and Cassie's 335 just got back from checking on the Idle Champions Presents announcement. And yes, Todd and Mark are indeed playing Averin and Baloth. The two of them are playing Averin and Baloth. Good luck to B-Dave. That's all I have to say.
Yep. Okay, so I got all of the legs. How are you doing?
I think I'm at the point in where I've gotten as much as I can, and I will probably find a corner or two, but I've gotten all the legs.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go to my black and just get a little dot out.
Okay.
I'm going to place it next to my bit of brown that I already had out. Because now what we can do is rinse our detail brush and go in and get the lovely eyeballs.
Ooh.
For a nice
so this is more black than brown or more brown than black?
This is just straight up black before we're not mixing right now.
Oh, okay.
We're going to mix in a minute, but we're going to take the black before we mix and we're going to get the eyeballs.
Oh, yeah. Time for the creepy insect eyeballs.
Here's looking at you, kid. You can see I'm just moving the brush around little by little. It's actually a little bit easier because these eyes are big. Alright, I do need to pull this out from under camera because there's an angle I can't see with the camera in front of my face.
And I do like how the black just shines really nicely against the face plate that we did.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that those had a chance to sort of not pop out they popped out of the head, but pop into
3D pop. Everybody put on your 3D glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One little shadow that I'm trying to paint.
Oh, I got a little bit on the head.
That's okay.
Let's see if I can... Let's see if I can get rid of that really quick.
What you can do is if you take a clean paintbrush and just get a little bit of water, you can sort of work on edging it. Actually, I think I did it too.
Yep.
Pick up there. So I'm just gonna take a wet brush and just sort of quickly touch it to where that little stray bit was. And that helps pull it away. But here is one eyeball. Oh, I love how that looks. So creepy. Very creepy. And then get the other side. And what I'm doing is I'm actually pulling this in close to my chest and locking my elbows against my rib cage, almost like I'm saying a prayer. And that helps big time with stability. So if you find when you're trying to do really tight detail work like this, if your hands start trembling, pull the mini in closer to your body, because that will make a difference. There's always one side that's a heck of a lot easier to do over the other with eyes, I have found.
Yeah, for this one I actually found, I know we've talked about turning the mini upside down when you're doing eyes in order to avoid the weird uncanny valley. Maybe it's because this creature isn't a humanoid. It's not so hard, but I actually found for me, when it's facing me, the left eye was actually a little easier than the right, even though I was able to turn it upside down. But
yeah,
there we go. Creepy eyes.
Tis the season for creepies.
That is true.
Creepy crawlers. Oh shoot.
Ooh.
I had a little hiccup.
Well, people are still checking out the Idle Champions 2 announcement, and Iron UK asks, should we know who Brig Darkclaw is? I mean, you're going to have to watch and find out, right? I believe there were other spoilers about Jason Charles Miller that were dropped in places, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yep. There was a nod to it earlier. You're just going to have to stay tuned to find out more.
Yeah.
That's that's all you're getting from me, folks.
That's all you get from me, too. I'm being super careful. Rav Spark asks, yesterday I found an old collection of metal Ralpartha. Oh, okay. I'm glad that you said that because that's not how I would have pronounced that. Ralpartha D&D minis from 1980. I've had this since I was a child, gifted to me, but only now do I understand what they are, and I'm torn on what to do with them.
Be careful and wash your hands.
Are they?
Some of them have lead issues, so just do be careful. If it's a value factor, then it may be something where you just kind of want to keep them in a nice glass case. If you want to paint them and have fun, that is truly your call as to what you want to do. Your minis, your means of enjoyment. I do know people who will find the older ones and they will put them up for sale on eBay type of thing, but yeah. Okay, so I have the eyes both blacked out now in full, and that's just really already starting to bring this fellow to life. Yeah. I'm going to take that black dot that I just put down, and I put down a little bit more brown from before, and what I'm going to do is mix those two together, and this is what's going to go onto our base, because I want the brown to be just a little bit darker than the legs.
Oh, okay.
So I'm mixing a little bit of black and the brown. And it doesn't have to be a perfect match to what I'm doing. I'm basically just working on getting something close to the color of dirt, kind of, is what I'm doing there. And then I'm just going to get some brown on the base. Because right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to give those legs time to dry. Because after we do that, we're going to move into doing some dry brushing.
Ooh.
Yes, it's going to get fancy. And I'm going to stick with my detail brush as I sort of, coloring book style, work around the tail. I guess we're going to call that, right? So use this to edge around, the detail brush to edge around, and then I'll go to a larger brush to work on getting the bigger area of the base.
Mm.
But I purposely wanted to go in with a slightly darker brown so that the legs and the base have some differentiation from each other.
I mean, this whole creature is very much into that kind of dirt camouflage, so it makes sense that a lot of these colors would be very similar. But yeah, trying to walk that line of like interesting creature, sticking with the color scheme, but still letting the legs pop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just glad to see people are excited for this.
I might have to go a little bit darker on my. I think I have too much brown, not enough black, because
that's all right.
I put some down. I'm like, oh,
add more. Yeah. Always easy to add more.
Yeah.
When it comes to black, black will quickly take over. All right. I'm pulling back out of frame because there is no way I can angle this with a camera over my face.
Oh, are you still using that mini holder that has the magnetic end to it?
I am, and what I did was I repositioned my camera angle, and that seems to have done the trick. So I've actually pulled the bar closer to me as opposed to hanging out and over more like I had it before, and so far I have not accidentally clunked into each other.
That's good.
It is very good. So I'm just going to quickly... You know what I think I'm going to do? While I do this, I'm going to put the game up just so people can see the fun that's happening on the game. Just to give people something fun to watch.
Oh, hey, look, we're live now. Paint Tinsley continues. Yeah, I should check in. I also intentionally don't have any kind of speed potions or anything going on because I want people to be able to see the game. I got Warden in their Witchlight skin because wings for everybody.
Why not? I love the wings.
Why not wings?
Playing last night on BDS, I am very much... I did not look at onesies with gorgeous little monarch butterfly wings on it because...
Right?
I kind of want that. I think it'd be adorable.
Okay, so I've
fun. Look at that.
I have to say, Orkira in her Witchlight skin makes me so happy.
Oh my gosh, that came out so darn well.
Right?
Yes.
Like, when we had the initial talk when they were like, yeah, so we're thinking about having making this skin for Orkira, and the first thing I asked, I'm like, wait, is she getting like wings on top of wings, or are we painting her wings? And they're like, we can do either. And I went, paint her wings. I was so excited. And then we were looking at different butterflies of like, all right, what colors would she use? What would appeal to her? And it's like the whole process was just super fun. And it just makes me want to play a Witchlight game so bad. Just coming up with all of that.
Having just played a couple of sessions already at the carnival, it's quite frankly, Witchlight is completely my aesthetic, just in terms of what I enjoy to play, how I enjoy to play games. So I have a feeling I'm going to try and do something fun on my end next time I DM something and pull a lot from that book. Because I do have a tendency to put a lot of my things in the Feywild, like I always have.
I haven't done too much in the Feywild, but I love the carnival aesthetic, and even if I don't use any of the rest of the adventure, just being able to grab the carnival itself as a location for fun things to happen, I think is amazing.
And that's just it. Like, you have rides, you have games, and there's a chart where you roll a d8 and you get different prizes, and it's beautifully endearing, quite frankly. I am a fan.
And especially after all the Ravenloft stuff, and I'm not just talking about this because of Black Dice Society, but with Van Richten's and
Barovia,
like that book is amazing, and people who want to be able to play a game in any of the Domains of Dread or any of that book is incredible. But like, if that's not your jam, that's not your aesthetic, which frankly mine is only that in small doses. So being able to then, and Witchlight might not be your aesthetic all the time, but being able to go there for a couple of sessions and have that kind of weird, spooky but fun, you know, not horror fun, but Feywild fun.
But just, yeah, exactly. Mischievous fun.
Yeah.
No, honestly, the two of them are nice offsets of each other. I will say that. I honestly think it's worth having both in your collection because of you know, the variety that each of them brings. Okay, so I've done my little color outside, not color outside, color around the edge like I've done. And now I'm going to switch to my bigger number 3 brush and finish off the base is what I am doing right now. So I'm going to rinse my details brush.
I'm almost there. I've got
cool.
a little bit more around the tail. I gotta outline.
That's fair. I'm actually going to
I'm surprised how far under the body the detail brush can get.
Yep. It really gets into those tighter spots, which is nice.
And I missed it. The larger brush you're using for the body now that you've.
No, I'm just going around on my base to get the bigger area.
Oh, but you're still using the detail brush.
No, I switched to my bigger brush.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I used the details brush to go around the body, and now that I'm off edging around the body, I'm just painting the rest of the base.
Okay.
It's a lot easier that way, I have found.
Oh, TTRP Gifts says, I just want to say that V broke my heart in a couple of times on Black Dice Society. 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Kevin Bolware comes back asking about the D&D minis. Are they valuable? I think I have a tackle box somewhere with about 500. Oh.
You need, yes, go, oh, yes, then you need to go to a hobby store or see if you can find listings on eBay for the same miniatures and see what your prices are, because there can be some highly sought after miniatures in that, especially, he said 1980s?
Yes. So the ones that Ravspark has are minis from 1980s, and then Kevin Bolwer is saying they have a tackle box with about 500 somewhere. So
yes,
they're the same find. Oof.
Yeah, definitely get those looked into and check it out.
And are minis the type of thing in where, because I know a lot of collectibles like that, the quality is the wrong word. But I guess I'll go for quality. Like, in box is still more valuable, or is it just, hey, I got this mini, it's the original mini?
I think it depends on how, if anything in its original container, of course, is going to add to its value. But there are even still some miniatures out there where if it's a certain miniature, people are going to want it anyways. But yeah, for the older D&D miniatures, especially the ones that are of the metallic variety, there are collectors out there for sure. A lot of times it will depend on the particular figure, etc., etc.
And by metallic variety, you literally mean they are metal miniatures, not that they're metallic dragons.
They are metallic miniatures. Pewter, like I said, some of the older ones had some lead issues. Because this is before we knew. But yeah, just it's worth investigating.
Yeah,
it is. I would recommend.
It can't hurt, and you know what? It's fun. I mean, maybe this is just a chance. You know, even if you pull them out and you go, oh no, these aren't what I thought they were. They're not the ones that are valuable. That's still a fun horde of minis you've got, and maybe now you've got a new collection of minis to paint or to use in a D&D game or to give to people who really like using minis in their game. So it's definitely worth pulling those out and taking a look.
Yeah. Okay, so I have gotten the base covered, and I even painted over the rocks. We'll address the rocks in a little bit. But I did that, and then...
Oh, I just automatically painted over the rocks, so I'm glad you said that, because I just went, it's the whole base.
No, absolutely. You know, rock it. Ta-da!
Yep. There we go.
So then we're going to have some fun with some dry brushing. How are my legs looking? Yeah, I think we could do it. All right, so I'm going back to brown.
Okay.
Doing a little touch of brown. If it doesn't bubble on me. There we go. A little touch of brown. Oh, should have been closer to my white that I had over there, but whatever. We're still good. I'm going to do a little bit of white. Actually, a nice dollop of white. Take that back. And then another little touch of yellow, because we're going to go in, we're going to start dry brushing. And we want it to be lighter than the color that we had going already on the back of the body.
Okay.
Okay, so you're using this color here to gauge. So you want that to be lighter than this, is what we're going to do. Mix this together. Oh, there we go. I might actually add a little bit more yellow and white to mine. The brown is strong.
The brown's just holding on.
Mm-hmm. It's got some oomph to it. It's kind of why I like mixing my own colors too, just to sort of see what else I can come up with for it.
Okay, you said darker than the back.
Lighter than the back. You want
lighter than the back.
Yeah, lighter than the back. Because this is going to be our dry brush color, and whenever you dry brush, you want the color to be lighter than your base color.
Okay. So you just talked about so if I need to make it lighter, should I add more yellow or more white, or is that...
I'm doing both.
Okay.
So yes. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of white. And I'm thinking I got it to where I almost want it to be.
And what flavor are you looking for when you say it's almost where you want it to be?
That's like food color comparison.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be like honey mustard. I don't know. Dijon dippings. I don't know. I'm trying to think what's a good color for this one.
I think mustards are good to go for, because I definitely ended up with a slightly more mustardy back than you did.
Yeah.
So if I've already got kind of a dark mustard, then I'm probably going more for Dijonnaise.
Go for a Dijonnaise.
Go for something that you're gonna
cake batter. Mine's vanilla cake batter.
Go for something that you can ask one person through the window of a car to another.
Pardon me, but do you have any...
Do you have any paint for some dry brushing?
Right?
But of course.
Oh, God. Those commercials cracked me up. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, so I am going to get a flat brush, my 4. So I'm going to grab my 4 flat. Hold on, numbers, they help. There we go. And if you hear that ringing, there's phone calls happening. It's not you, it's me.
That's just someone asking for their Grey Poupon, that's all.
Mm-hmm. Pardon me. Do you have any Grey Poupon?
I'm almost there. I had to add a lot more white, but I'm getting a color I like, so...
Well, then that's even better if you're getting a color you like.
Yeah.
All right, so I have this on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start just pulling it across the body. And what's going to happen is there's this lovely texture that lives. It looks like it's a smooth surface, but it's really not. So once you start dry brushing it against the body, you'll start seeing that really cool texture that does exist on the back.
There's my 4. All right. Oh, and we got some good questions. I think we just got a fresh influx of people from the game.
Hello.
And so... Kiwi Mischief wants to know, are you enjoying the painting handle? You talked about what you had to do to use it, but...
Very good question. I honestly do like this handle. I am pleasantly surprised at how nicely my hands grip the form of it. I'm noticing, because every so often with the pill bottle, I'd start to get wrist fatigue because you're holding like this. But because of how this fits in my hand, it's like a more relaxed fist, if that makes sense. So I am enjoying this.
Good.
I do like this new mini paint holder. So if you decide you would like to purchase one, I would recommend this one from Redgrass Games. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And Gray L Shaped asks, poster putty or museum putty to stick the figure to the base, or does it matter?
coaster putty, museum putty is stronger, and if it's something where you're not going to be working on it and taking it off within a certain amount of hours, it might make itself a little bit tough to take off.
It's stuck now.
That's why you might need a hairdryer.
Good to know. Super good to know.
Museum putty tends to have a little bit more oomph to it, just from my own experience, in terms of keeping things more secured.
And Lawdux wants to know, what paints are y'all using and prefer? Anything specifically good for newbies to get started? So I'll jump in first and say, if you check out the Discord, we have listed on our Discord all of the stuff that I am using that we recommend if you'd like to join us and paint along. That list of supplies is listed there. I am, and so that specific selection is here, let me grab one
Vallejo
of the paints. Yeah,
game
so these
color.
are the Vallejo game color line, like that, and the set that's listed on the Discord and in with all of the stuff it's a nice set that includes basically all the colors that you need. And V, what are you using?
I am also using Vallejo model color line, simply because it's the bottles are easier for me to store in my little work area by my streaming equipment. But if you are just freshly getting started and have never painted miniatures before, I will recommend that you just need to get to your craft store. Pardon me while I move an errant cat hair. You can always go to your local craft store and purchase the it's Deco Art. What else do we have? There is Plaid Paints. They have a variety of different paint lines. And the bottles, they're larger ones. They're like 4-ounce bottles. They usually run anywhere from 50 cents to $1.50. This is US dollars, by the way. And if you're just getting started and you want to get a feel for what it's like painting miniatures, I always recommend starting with those and just getting your basic colors of white, black, brown, red, yellow, blue. 6 colors of paint. And you can start mixing and getting your different colors pulled together just from those 6 paints. Which, if you've watched the past couple of painting streams we've done, is exactly what we've been doing. But that's a good way to get started and get a feel for mini painting if you like it, if it is something that caught your attention. And then in terms of what paints I would recommend, my recommendation always is try and see, and you might find a brand that you prefer over the other. Because I could tell you I absolutely love this particular brand. You go to use it and you hate it. It happens. Because people have different ways of manipulating the paint. So how they paint a certain brand may work better for them than another paint. But for just getting into things, I do recommend craft paints if you're on a budget, big time. And if you're not on a budget, then getting one of those like kits that Lauren just mentioned, that's a really great way to get a basic supply going for yourself.
And that kit was not expensive at all.
30, I want to say, usually.
Yeah, I got it off of the Amazons, because sometimes you don't have a friendly local game store you can get to. And yeah, it was for the amount of paints, specifically because it's going to be enough paint for all the minis we're going to be doing and more. It was great.
Yeah. So it's just, a couple of factors to think about when you go into purchase, and take it from there.
And of course, I'm sure if you do get the chance to go to a friendly local game store, they will have a multitude of suggestions as well of stuff that they like using. The first mini I ever painted, that was a player character mini, I actually did it at the store that I was playing at. This was back in 4th edition, and the store literally had basically it was like a paint and take area, and where if you'd bought the mini at the store, they had a little station set up with all of the basics of what you would need to paint pretty much any mini. And there were always plenty of people around who would give advice and suggestions on stuff. And so that was my first mini, and it gave me a chance to get a mini and then also get a chance to have it painted in a way that I was super happy about. Without having to buy all of the stuff right away, because I did not have that kind of money. And then when I did have the money, then I'd already had a little bit of experience. I was like, okay, so I'll get the same stuff that I used in the store because I know how to use it.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really great that they had that as an offer.
It was super nice. It was, and they didn't have like everything. And of course, you were using stuff that had been used before. So there were some brushes that had been gently used and stuff like that. But for one mini, for a beginner who didn't even know what a wash was, who didn't know what anything was, it was absolutely perfect. So,
well, there you go. Nice. Okay, I already got the dry brush on the body, and I'm pretty happy with it. Again, you start to see more texture that comes out and details.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is, because this is sort of the color I'm thinking the teeth would be good, I'm going to take the same paint, moving to my details brush, and I'm going back to that gaping maw, and I am just going to very lightly, with the details brush, but holding it so it's pretty much parallel to the teeth, just gently brush over the toothy area.
That toothy maw.
The toothy maw. That is like a classic DM phrase.
Yeah. Let's see.
So that's what I'm doing right now. The little teeth are, oh my goodness. Definitely go feather light on the lower jaw.
Oof, yeah, that doesn't take much.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing. Like, it's just, you barely have to introduce the two to each other, and they're like, hi, we're best friends, let's meet. Okay, so I'm going to call that good for the mouth. So now you get a taste of the teeth.
Yep, that was the thing you just said. Yep. I'm here for it.
All right.
I'm here for it. Absolutely.
All right, great. So there we go with the twofers. The teeth are done. And now we have this belly that we're going to want to do too. And for that, I'm just going to take some brown, a little bit of brown and a little bit of white, since I already have a little bit of white over here. And we're making a very light brown. More white than brown for sure. So we can dry brush the tentacles and the tummy.
We're going to give this thing the best tummy scritches with dry brushing. Aww.
Pretty much. Oh, I definitely needed more white on that one. Hello. Where did I put my white? Oh, it's over there. It's fun when you're ambidextrous, and sometimes things go to the left and sometimes things go to the right.
Yeah. Oh, we got some more questions. Deadman43212 wants to know, do you use a color wheel when you set up your mixes? I do not. I use a wonderful person called V who tells me how much to put in places. But how about you?
Well, once upon a time in a land far, far away when I was a little girl, my mother was an interior decorator. So I grew up with swatches and wheels and the fans of color squares and everything like that, to the point where for me it's more mentally etched into my mind. But color wheels can be very handy, yes. If you want to get a hold of one, I would recommend it. I wouldn't say no to a color wheel. They are quite helpful, especially when you're trying to find things like colors that would go well with each other. If you want to have fun with some contrasting colors, they are fantastic for that. And it gets you into some color theory as well, which every so often I will get into when we get with more colorful miniatures. Things like there's a reason why red and green look great together, the same thing for blue and orange, because of where they're positioned on the color wheel, which if people are interested, I'm happy to get myself a color wheel and I can explain it more in depth when we do things like that. If that
might be definitely a good thing to know, because I only know about color theory in the sense of that it is a thing. My wonderful husband Luke has tried to explain some of it to me, and I have kind of understood some of it, but it is definitely not in my wheelhouse, let's say.
Yeah, so. That's fair. That is absolutely fair. So I have what looks like chocolate milk. We're going to call it chocolate milk. Not quite hot chocolate, but chocolate milk. Like when you don't have like enough of the syrup, or it's like you put the syrup in, you just started stirring, but there's still a whole bunch of syrup at the bottom. That level of chocolate milk for mine. And I'm going to start dry brushing this onto the back of the tentacles and onto the tummy.
Okay. And remind me, since I was a little bit behind because I got a little behind on my dry brushing on the back. So you did brown, and what else for this tummy rubs?
For the tummy rubs, it's just brown and white. Just those two colors. More heavy on the white, though, for sure. Okay.
For that chocolate milk joy.
Yes. I'm telling you, those legs ate up more time than I realized.
There are a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh, do we know what we're painting next week? Come to think
we
of it.
do. We do. So next week, and for a couple of weeks, we're going to be getting into a beholder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Quite a fun beholder, quite frankly.
Yeah. I'm going to be...
Wait, isn't it floating around in the game right now?
Oh, yeah. You can find this in in Witchlight.
Yeah. What about your familiar? Was that the one that's also got it going on, or I'm trying to think of it's the Witchlight one, or is that a different one?
Let me see. Because are we painting Iris, or are we doing? Because
no, we're not.
Remind me which beholder we're doing, because I thought we were doing the Witchlight one.
We're going to do the one in the Witchlight one. So okay. If you get to the Witchlight section of the game, do check that out, because we're going to have some fun.
Oh, yeah.
Getting into painting this mini. That is a paint list I need to get pulled together for you. Probably Monday morning. It'll be ready on Monday morning.
Sounds good.
For that particular paint list. But if you want to get yourself a beholder, WizKids does have a beholder you are welcome to use. If anyone has a 3D printer, I know there are tons of different beholder style monsters out there. If you want to do your own 3D print, that's cool too.
Well, and I've got the information for that beholder, and so I can definitely get that in the Discord today.
Nice. So many of us, they can snag that.
Yeah. So you can get going, and then if you've got all of the stuff that we've recommended for starting out for painting, you'll be set to go, because that's all the stuff I'm going to have. So I'll definitely get that beholder listed today, and then we'll have more specifics on Monday.
I will say, Lauren, I'll send you a link after we're done today. You're going to want to get a hold of something called green stuff.
Oh, I have no idea what that is, and I'm excited.
We're gonna be doing a little bit of kit bashing to make the beholder look more like what you see in our Witchlight game adventure, because that particular beholder has some fun little attributes that we're going to kit bash onto the miniature.
Yes. For those of you who haven't unlocked Witchlight just yet in the game, so the fun thing about the Witchlight Carnival, at least those first couple of adventures, is and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but it's been out for a little bit. The story that you are playing through is that the kids from Waterdeep are being escorted to the Witchlight Carnival by the champions. And along the way, they are telling Sergeant Knox grand tales of their adventures. And so what you are playing through is their telling of the adventures that you have had, of some of the previous adventures that have been played through in the game. And kids, being kids, will exaggerate a little bit. And when they talk about the Xanathar, it's a sight to behold. That's all I'll say. If you haven't seen it yet.
There you go.
I'm
actually looking. I think I might take this as the rest of the dry brush color on the body. Because of what we're going to do.
Since we're doing a lot of dry brushing, this is a very pertinent question for people who are new. Old Whiskey Bob has a question. Can you explain what dry brushing is and what effect it imparts? Which is, this is the perfect time to talk about that.
Absolutely. So dry brushing is where you put some paint on your brush and you take a portion of it off on your paper towel or your wrist if you're like me and then really getting into the group. But on a paper towel, you'll sort of dip your brush into the paint just a little bit. You don't want to cover it too much. And then you just carefully swipe away the paint until you see it starts to streak on the texture of the paper towel. Then what you do is you take this brush and you go to your miniature and you brush it against the texture of the miniature to bring out these details in the mini, and it sort of acts as a highlight, which you're seeing here now. You see these details being brought out in the legs that weren't really popping out before because it was just a flat brown. And the name of the game is to keep it very light on the body, because what you don't want to have it do is go into the deeper recesses and grooves and then become that lighter color. It basically acts as a highlighting function. And it's a great technique for those just getting into miniature painting. So that's the short version of dry brushing.
And the extra nice thing that I found as a new person is that it is one of those in where you can start off with almost nothing and then just like slowly build up from there. So, and it really kind of feels like, because you're doing so little at a time, that it's hard to mess up. And when you do, it's not really a mess up. It's not like, I've just gotten blue all over my green area and this is the worst. Like it's just like, now this is just like a slightly different color. So it's a nice technique to learn. I'm still definitely mastering it, but yeah.
Which is totally cool. So yeah, I just put it up on the legs, and now you can see more of those bends and what have you to the legs, which is what I want. In fact, I'm going to play around just a little bit more here. And then I'm also going to take it onto the face and really start to play up the texture of that gaping maw we were just talking about. And I'm just carefully trying to avoid the fully blacked out eyes.
Oh yeah.
So work the brush around it. Try and avoid the eyes as best you can. You don't want to get that covered with a dry brush. And also up on the antenna. Each one of those could use a little bit, because there's some great texture in there. Ooh, just bumped my camera. Anyone with motion sickness, my apologies. And the other thing, the way I'm doing this order of dry brushing is because we're doing the wash after. It won't be as prominent, but it'll still help keep details so that when you go and you put the wash on, some areas will look even more recessed while others will look even more highlighted. Which is why I like to do it like this. Yes. Okay, so I'm happy with the details that are starting to come up on the head as well. Yoink. And when you do this, you want to make sure you're also pulling across the texture. You don't want to go with the same lines of the texture, otherwise you're just basically painting into areas you don't want to. You want to keep it on the higher points, not the recessed points. Another little tip with dry brushing.
And what I often forget is to make sure that I've got some really good light, because dry brushing is one of those things where you're like, I don't have that much, and then you put it in the light and you're like, oh no, I'm actually just painting.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. So I am happy with that progress. What I'm going to do right now is make a little bit of gray, because we have those lovely stones. And to make it gray, it's just a little bit of white, a little bit of black. Mix it together. I want it to be more of a light gray, so I'm going to use less black than white. Where's my detail brush? And I always mix my paints with the bases of my brushes, just because it's easier that way. There we go. Just a nice, almost like a silver gray.
Oh yeah.
Dove gray, I think, is what like a paint color would be called for that one.
Yep, need a little more black. I'm trying to be careful with the black, because you've said before that it doesn't take much.
Strong. Yeah. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this gray before I paint it onto the rocks. I am going to use my detail brush, but instead of going straight up white on the eyes, because if you do white and black like this, it's going to look very anime. So to make the eye highlight, I'm using a light gray, and I'm just going to add a little loop where I see the natural light catching on that eye right now. And now I have an eye highlight that doesn't make this look like it's endearingly cute.
Oh, now I'm so tempted. I won't.
If you want to have this more like an anime style eyeball, then I would say sure, go for it. But yeah, for placement of this highlight, what I am looking for right now is, you can see right here, that natural light that's being caught. Yeah. That's where I'm going to put my gray, so I know that's where it'll look like there's a highlight of light on my eye when I remove it from that particular light source. And now I have these little bits of gray to accent those eyes. I'm just going to work on evening them out now.
Okay, all right, I see.
Yeah.
I think I've avoided the worst of the anime eye. But now that I know, I kind of want to go full on anime eye in another one of these creatures.
Oh, there you go.
Let's see.
He is looking at you, kid.
Hey. Just a
all right. And once you do that, you can go to... Some of them will probably layer the little stones that I'm going to use this detailed brush on, and then there's bigger ones which I could use my number 3 on.
And I'm going to grab a few more questions from chat. Kiwi Mischief points out that paints in New Zealand are super expensive, $25 per little pot. Oof.
Oof. Then that is where absolutely stick to your 6 colors. Black, white, brown, yellow, blue, red. You can get a plethora of colors with just those 6 pots. And if you want to have something where it's like, oh, but I want it to be metallic, then you can get an agent that makes your paint look metallic. It's just an addition to your paint mixing. So again, you're still saving money. You're not buying, oh, I need a metallic blue. You can mix a metallic blue just using the metallic agent.
Little bit of extra work saves a lot of extra money.
It will be more cost effective, yeah.
The Mel says, who's a good boy? Yes, you little crawler. Yes, you are. Who's a good boy? Yes, you are. Who's going to go kill a whole adventuring party? Yes, you are.
I love it. I love it.
And Graphic Wolf says, I think dry brushing is my favorite part of painting textured things, and I love your explanation of it too. Aw.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It can be an overwhelming concept, so I try and explain it as best I can.
Well, I agree. I think you've done an excellent job. And Jumbalulu says, do you ever paint things that you need a magnifier for? We haven't yet here, but have you done that?
Have I done that? For some reason, whenever I go to use a magnifier, they give me migraines.
Okay.
Yeah. What I will do, I won't do like the big, they almost look like artificer style glasses. What I have on hand are just simple drugstore readers. So I will put these on, and they help me see a little bit better. Except don't look at a computer screen when you do that, and you're not looking at something small. I will do that. I'll just get little readers and use those, and I find that's enough for me. Taking those and moving into natural light, it's amazing how much you can see with just that. But I do know other painters who have like the little flippity-doos, and you can get different settings on your glasses and everything. Use those with great success. So based off of what others have experienced, yeah, they can be helpful. Based off my personal experience, you know, go to your local drugstore, pick up I think I got like I want to say 1X. I'm trying to remember how those are graded. But I just started off with like the base level increase of magnification. Because it's also with those, I found I can rest it on my nose and then look up and kind of give myself a break and look at like natural view. As opposed to having these things like sitting right in front of your eyes the whole time.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's my personal recommendation. Okay, so I have the rocks painted. I wanna rock. I went there. I
wanna rock. I'm still working on the last rock here.
Woohoo! So while that dries, we need to go on to back to brown. Not back to black, but back to brown. And I'm going to do the stripities that happen on the back, which I will show you in just a minute on the pre-painted one that I have. So this is where we can have some fun here. Your call. but there are these there are these back stripes.
Ooh.
On the Carrion Crawler. So I'm just going to go in with straight up brown and just add these little, like, you know, streaks and lines onto the back of mine. Again, using that detail brush. And this is going to give the base a little bit more time to dry because we're going to do one last round of dry brushing on the base to bring out texture. And then we should be good for a wash. So I'm just going to go in. And actually, another thing you'll see me do is I'll use my hand to paint. So sometimes if I want to get a feel for how a brush is going to behave or what I want to do stripey wise, I'll practice on my own hand first to give myself ideas. If you want to do that.
Ooh,
but you can just play around with different striping looks. So I am going to go through and start adding some stripes.
Now, are you going to try to avoid the creases or include the creases with the stripes?
I'm going to try to avoid the creases if I can, because I don't want to over-exaggerate the creases as a result or flatten the effect of what's happening, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll do sometimes is I will roll my detail brush in a thicker bead of paint to help form a better point, which I just did right now on my hand. I'll do like almost like little dash marks too. There's really no wrong way to do this. It's just having fun with stripities.
I like it too because it helps give some texture to the back, and I think makes it more as much as, once again, fantasy creature, but still kind of that realism of, yeah, probably a real creature like this would have camouflage stripes the same way any hunter would.
Yeah. Just a little point of visual. Never hurts. There we go. What I didn't like about this one is this is almost like overdone.
Yeah, there are a lot going on,
yeah,
and with it being
I don't want to put too much on.
A shiny back too. It's cool looking. Like, I like the effect, but I think for ours, I agree, keeping it simple.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of going through and almost letting the brush make the mark as it goes and not try and control it as much. I'm finding is how I'm doing it, just for fun. I can also feel myself getting into the zen, and I'm trying to not get too quiet.
Hey, we've reached that point of the day, and where you know there's only a few minutes. There's only about a half an hour left in the show, and we're just like, painting. Painting. Happy little stripes and a happy little Carrion Crawler.
We need to do a happy little treant at one point.
I love that idea. I love it so much.
I really do. I think that would be amazing. Now I am trying to get a couple of these stripes to sort of wrap around a little bit as I get higher up on the body.
Yeah, definitely. The higher up on the body, the harder it is to get a longer line, I've found.
That's what I'm finding as well. So I'm doing what I can here.
All right, yeah.
Yeah?
I think I ended up with thicker stripes, but I kind of like it, and I don't know.
Oh, I think a variety is... Oh, no, that's looking good.
There we go.
Really, I don't think there's a wrong way to do these.
Stripey boy.
Stripey Sir Crawl-a-lot.
Yeah.
And the Lady Carlita.
What a pair. What a pair.
There we go.
Oh, well, now maybe a vampire. Thank you. You could do all the beholder eyes or just some with the anime effect, and it'll be fabulous.
Boy. Oh,
yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. Oh, and Jumbalulu is asking about the hand mount, the mini holder that you have. Where did you get that? And I know we had some links to that. I hope maybe our mod still has that link.
Yeah, Martin, I think that's still in the link because you had shared that last week. I think it's still in our chat on Mattermost. It's from Redgrass Games, and it is their 360 mini holder, I believe is the name of it.
Whereas I am using the pill bottle, the wonderful pill bottle. As a 44-year-old woman, I have plenty of these. So.
I do too. I mean, I got my nice one right. See?
Yep, they come in this nice orange. I have a wider one too for the wider base minis. So when we get to some really big minis, I have my really big pill bottles. Yes.
Yeah, I can say this is probably as large of a mini I would go on this particular holder. I'll probably still go back to my large pill bottle for the big guys. But anything that's larger than a large mini in base scale, yeah, it might be a bit much. But I do, because it's nice the way it spins around, I will say that. Yes.
Are there any minis that are so big that you basically just forego putting it on a holder at all?
Yeah, I have. I absolutely have. Dragon minis that I've done. And what else? Water elemental, fire elemental that I did.
Ooh.
Yeah, when they get to being like to that huge range, or even some of the large ones, which I know sounds weird, but follow me along with this one, folks. Yeah, sometimes you have to kind of get a little creative with how you hold them. I think I'm going to leave it at this with my stripedy back.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
I do too.
And I went for...
That.
Yeah.
Ah, that's great. So that being done, I'm going to go to... I think I still can use it. Did that dry up on me? Yeah, I can still use it. So I'm going to go back to that lighter brown that we had used on the tummy area.
Okay.
The chocolatey milk one. And I'm just going to lightly dry brush the base to help bring out a little bit more texture that's going on there.
Ah.
It'll also play nicely with the gray rocks as a highlight too. Yeah, I like that. That worked out nicely.
It's just a cavalcade of browns, cavalcade of chocolates.
The next one I'm going to do, I am going to try out what I wanted to do with the bright green version that I saw floating around, which I think someone said was from the 3E or 3.5.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I want to try that color combination next for a Carrion Crawler. I think that would be a lot of fun to bust out. Wait, who sang Bust a Move? You got it. That one.
Is that Buster Rhymes?
Is it? Okay, so then we'd have Sir Crawl-a-Lot and Sir
Sir Buster.
And what could it be? Not Busta Rhymes, Busta Rock.
Oh, the chat, help us. Oh, Young MC. I'm sorry, I'm very
Young
wrong.
MC.
Okay. It was Young MC and Sir Mix-a-Lot. Buttermilk biscuits. Wait, what? Oh, Kevin Bulware says, I knew I'd gotten old when I could mount Tiamat on my pill bottle. Yes! I love that so much. Oh.
Amazing. Oh my God. Amazing.
Yes. Pill bottle goals. Suddenly I don't feel so bad about this. Like, suddenly I'm like, oh.
Nope. Okay, I'm going to rinse my brushes before they get too dry with paint. Probably have to buy a new set of brushes soon because I'm so hard on my brushes. It's bad. It's really bad. I usually get about 4 minis that I need to replace. But I'm definitely liking how this is looking.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we have 2 wash colors we're gonna do. One is the Agrax, and I am particular about my washes. I do prefer Citadel's shade washes over many others. And I have used many others. I have used Army Painter, I have used Vallejo, I have used some off-brand one, which the name is escaping me at this point, and I always go back to Citadel. I just find them to be quite lovely. So I'm going to be using Citadel Shade, Agrax Earth Shade.
Okay. And for those of us who are making
playing the mixing game with fresh water. Do you have fresh water?
I do. I got my second cup right here.
Oh, good. You've got the method down.
I got my wash my brush water. I've got my use it for washes water, and I got my this is the cup I can drink out of. The Phoenix says it's safe water.
There, that is smart. So you're basically going to take your darker brown, so the Beastie Brown.
All right.
And you're going to mix that with some water. Remember, nice and thin, so it's almost looking like a good beef broth. How's that? Like a really rich beef broth. Almost stew-like, but still thin.
All right.
Is that a good comparison? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, no, I can go for that. I've been it's been getting cool enough around here that we're getting back into soups and stews and chilies and all of that fun stuff. So
excellent. So what I'm going to do is with my Agrax Earth Shade, I'm going to put this onto the body of the Carrion Crawler. And I'm actually going to hold it upside down too, because it has this lovely frill at the bottom here that I want to make sure I am bringing out. And by holding it upside down, that does help. So I'm going to get this onto the legs and onto the and just let this...
I'm assuming we're using one of our bigger brushes.
Oh yes, using the big number 3 brush for sure. And the point of the wash is that it's going to fall into the recesses of the miniature and help bring out those details just a little bit more. And I did check and make sure that my brown stripes were nice and dry enough before painting this on. You may want to do more of like a dabbing approach as opposed to a sweeping on approach because of all the various bits of texture on this, and letting gravity work with you. It helps if I keep it in frame. Hello. There we go. So see, I'm doing more of this dabbing motion, and you can see how gravity is pulling it down as I go along.
And this is the part where I usually end up with bubbles. I gotta be careful.
Right, because you're mixing it, yeah. You could always try and tap your paper plate a little bit and see if it helps, like you would with a cake tin.
Ah.
See if it helps kind of get some of the bubbles to pop out, I should say.
I think some of it is the mixing, and some of it is I am going a little too fast putting on the wash. So I think I just need to slow down.
There you go. Slow down, you move too fast. I'm like on random mode for songs. Gotta make the morning last just.
Get a little painty.
I love it.
And we'll stop there. Well, we'll stop there.
Yeah. Although I think because we sort of spoofed it, that falls into that lovely little artistic interpretation.
I hope so. I think so.
But yeah, so basically just moving around all angles here. Gosh,
getting into all the crevasses.
There are many of them too.
Yeah.
Holy moly. And this is even
just when you think.
Yeah, it's even going to go up and around on the head and the tentacles too. And over the eyeballs and into the mouth.
That's if we weren't talking about painting right there, that would be a tiny bit of a horror story. Going to come around the tentacles, around the eyeballs and into the mouth.
Yep.
That's the description of when the Carrion Crawler actually catches you. It's like, oh.
Right. Over the tentacle, through the gums, look out tummy, here it comes.
Well, we got a couple more questions from chat. Law Ducks, do you just glue a magnet to the lid of the pill bottle, So I'm using just some of the I just lost the name of it. The sticky stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. Sticky tack that you can stick. And so I can pull it off later and reuse it. And
yep, it's the same thing going on here on mine.
Super easy to find, super cheap, super reusable, all the fun stuff.
Yes, yeah. I haven't bought tack in about 3 years now.
I am a little bit bad about it does, but you have to put it back into a sealable container.
Bag. Yeah.
And that's where I am bad. I will admit it. I'm bad about that. But fortunately, that kind of sticky tack is, like we said, it's like $2 or $3 at the grocery store. Super cheap.
Yeah. It's an affordable supply addition for sure.
Star Chaser 43 says the flagon with the phoenix holds the brew that is true. Yes. I do try to keep the my drink very obviously separate from my painting supplies.
Okay, so I'm good with my wash of brown. Then what I'm gonna do is use my Nuln oil, which is basically a black wash, Lauren. So when you're ready, it's just a matter of mixing some black and water together.
All right, I'm almost there. I'm doing a little bit of tentacles here.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put this onto my base. But again, this is the Citadel shade Nuln oil, which you'll hear a lot of people joke around is talent in a bottle, because it does a great job of bringing out more details. But what I didn't want to do is make it all like very brown, so I moved over to the black for the base, which is what I'm doing right now. You can see it brings out more of the texture. Ta-da.
Ta-da. Yep, and now it's my turn to make my own gnome oil.
Nuln, N-U-L-N, Nuln. Although I kind of like gnome oil.
Yeah, one of these days we're going to do an actual gnome, and then we'll... that there will be gnome oil.
There you go. But now... oh, yes. Question?
There was an interesting question from chat. I'm unsure. Jimbalulu says, kind of off subject, but Lauren, I wanted to know the name of your books. I have not written a book, although I have contributed to a couple of random things. Are you asking about something that I've contributed on, or are you asking about the books behind me? Just so I know for sure what you're asking about. And Kevin Bolware says, as someone who hasn't painted in years and years, is there much difference in painting plastic minis?
Yes. Plastic minis you will find have a little bit more flexibility to them. So you can manipulate them a little bit more and have fun with kit bashing and reshaping them and things like that. The paints take slightly differently. I have found between painting metal and painting plastic. The plastic is more durable in the long run. I have a couple of metal ones that have accidentally been dropped, and quickly the paint job was ruined. I have dropped plastic minis, and that's not so much the case. So it's slight nuances, but you know, if you remember how to paint, you'll be able to paint either mini regardless. That is for sure.
Good to know.
Hopefully that was a helpful bit of knowledge. So I'm going to remove my crawler, not to be confused with the crawler, not the donutty goodness, from my holder. And you can see this tack has sort of stuck a little bit, so I'm going to just use my fingernail a little bit there and get another chunk off. And then what you can just do is go in and use your ball of tack and help remove the rest of what's on the base.
Ooh, mine came out cleanly. Aha!
Nice. Okay, so there we go. So that takes that off there. And I will put this over here for now. Oh, I forgot that was metal, so that just stuck on quite nicely.
That just went, and you're done, ka-chunk.
And good day to you, sir. All right,
so
we have, with WizKids, you get these great classic black discs. Okay, so we're going to put...
I forgot to bring my black disc over. I have to go get my black disc. Okay. Hold on. All right, you stay there. You stay right there. I will be right back.
All right, cool. So what I'm going to do while she's getting her disc is take my super glue and make sure it is liquid style. Is this the one I opened up? That was the question. Because there's one that got... Oh, no, this is not the one that's opened up. What you want to do, we'll talk about super glue. Because super glue comes in some new forms now where there is gel. Don't do gel. You want to look for liquid. Okay, liquids have a stronger, more durable bond, I have found. I have used the gel form in the past, and it is very brittle. It can break apart on itself, and your bonds will be less secure, and some of it even causes discoloration. So I would just, in general, stay away from your gel super glues. I know it's tempting because it comes out nicely and everything like that, but what you want to do is get a classic liquid, which I have right here. And then I'm just going to carefully pick this up. Mine is still slightly damp with washes, but I want to show you how to get these onto the bases. So I'm going to add some, like a little bit of a puddle, not too terribly much, enough to coat the bottom like this, which if I can sort of show that off. And now I'm just going to hold this upside down for like 10 seconds. Because it helps the super glue to get a little bit of air before you go to adhere it to the disc.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and that being said, I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to place it onto the disc. And now it just kind of needs to sit there for a little while, because you want the two to bond together. Of course, I can move it around now because it's still wet, but you want to give that some time to adhere to the base. And let me just quickly. Then what I'll do is, oh, it's right there. Then what I'll do is once that's had a chance. Oops, I moved it on my own. No. Once it's had a chance to dry, I'm going to stop touching it right now. Once it's had a chance to dry, what I'm going to do, and I can show this on the pre-painted crawler that I have, I'm going to go to my Army Painter grass tufts, because these are just so much fun. And it comes in different sizes, like there's bigger ones and it goes down to smaller ones. So while this one sets to its base,
there we go.
I'm just going to show you what fun this is. You can basically just go right in. If you want to, you can use a pair of tweezers. You peel these things off, and there's actually like this little bit of stickiness onto that. You can opt to put some super glue on there if you want. I have found when you're going straight onto this plastic, you can just place it where you want it, put a little bit of pressure down with like the top of your fingernail, and then you get this fun little grass tuft as an accent to your miniatures. So I'm going to do that on my other Carrion Crawler once it has dried to its base. Right now is not the time to do it. But I wanted to show you how quick and easy, and you can see it sticks on. It just stays in place like that. Isn't that fun? Yeah. So that'll be the last step off camera, as well as, and then we'll seal it. We talked about wanting to make it glossy. I still have them matte. I need to run downstairs and get my gloss. But we're going to use Podge Ultra to seal these. It comes in matte. It also comes in gloss, which is a red label. And you have the options of you can either spray it on if you want to. I will actually take this off so you can quickly see inside. See, there's a pump action, which is nice too, but it's this liquidy substance that you can actually, you can dip your paint brushes into if you want to and paint it onto your miniature instead if you don't want to use the pump action. Just make sure you shake it really well before you use it. But that is what I'm going to seal this miniature with afterwards as well, to protect the paint job. But that is, let's see, are we good here? Yes. That is our Carrion Crawler.
Nice.
Drying on their base, set and ready to go. We have Sir Crawlot and we have Crawlita.
There we go.
We'll get pictures, and oh gosh, yours came out so well.
Both of these came out really well. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get the grass tufts on here and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely going to go in the Discord when they're ready to go for their close-up Mr. DeMille.
Yeah, get some nice lighting and. Ooh.
Yeah, so let's see. Do I have... Where did I put the beholders? I don't know where I put my beholder minis. But next week, we're going to start jumping into beholders and very special beholders because they're going to look like our beholder from Untitled Champions and the Witchlight.
I'm excited. And we're going to be doing beholders 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks because we're going to be doing some extra fun stuff to that. So that way we don't have to rush through it so that we can enjoy the process.
Yeah, because it's fun. And there's like there's neat little bits to the builders as well.
Yeah. A few last questions have come on in, and actually the first one is going to be from me. You talked about using a paintbrush to paint on the Mod Podge instead of using the spray. Why would you do one versus the other, or is it just a comfort factor?
Comfort factor and preference.
Okay.
I have found if you want to make sure it has a really solid, good coverage everywhere, then I will go in with my paintbrush and like get into, because this one especially has a lot of nooks and crannies. I will say that. So that's where I'll go in with the paintbrush. There are others that have like larger surfaces and trying to get an even coat on can be a little bit trickier. That's where the spraying helps instead. A lot of times it's just playing around with the product and feeling your comfort level as to what would work best for you.
Awesome.
But I rotate between the two, honestly.
That makes sense.
Paint or spray.
And Jumbaloo was specifically asking about books that I had helped work on. I'll say I haven't done a ton of published books. Most of the stuff that I have that's D&D related is either on DM's Guild or I've just put out for free. The most recent thing was I got a chance to add a magic item to the Kobold Press Vault of Magic, which was a Kickstarter a while ago and is now you can do pre-orders for and is coming out soon. And V, I think you did that too, right?
Yeah, I added a collection of, it's the one collection of magic items that are based off of magic items I created for my players of The Last Dare on the Kobold Press Twitch channel when it was in its heyday. Yeah, I'm really excited about that one.
Yay!
So, yeah.
And Herkwork will get our final say of the day. You can cheat with plastic minis by hitting them with a flat coat of spray before you start painting them to get them back to more of a metal base behavior. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. Because, you know, as we like to say, it's all of this is fun, all of this is paint, and you can always start over. There's no there's nothing that can't be just redone because it's just paint.
No, you can always go back and try again.
This is so much fun. I can't wait for this to finish drying so that I can put on all of the little tufts.
Yeah, I'm kind of jonesing to like get the tufts on and get pictures out because this is looking like so much fun right now. A little puddle here. This is a quick little cheat too. If you notice a puddle, you can take the corner of your paper towel and just do a quick little blot like I just did.
Oh dear, you got like a little
smudge right here. Let's like, touch it up really quick. Yep. Yeah. Oh, so much better, darling.
I love how we both went for our grandmas. Oh dear. Let me just get that about the corner.
It's the area where I live. You get a lot of those Dynatypes.
Oh yeah. That's half my family is right there on that coast.
I love it. I love it.
Well, thank you so much, V. This is as always super fun. Thank you to everyone in chat. Thank you to Martin for being awesome moderator. Definitely come to our Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions to join the Paint and Slay channel so that you can also post your minis, whether you joined us for the Carrion Crawler, if you got some other minis, and to get all of the details on the Beholder that we're going to be going after next. Yay!
I can't wait.
Anything else?
Right. I think that's everything we had to discuss. So don't forget to check out the Idle Champions Presents Trials of Mount Tiamat. First episode airs October 18th.
Yep. And stick around for Garwar's Guide. Garwar's Guide to Everything is going to be coming up in just a few minutes. And thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next encounter.
Bye, everyone. Bye.